This email question wants to know, how much do you charge for your services? Somebody's watching right now and they may need your services and might be a little apprehensive. So how do they, go about getting in contact with you, and how much would you charge them?
Well, Morgan, that's a good question that everybody should understand. When you go to a lawyer, it's fair game to ask up front what you charge and how do you charge. And it really depends on the kind of work that you need done. If it's a criminal matter, for instance, most lawyers doing criminal work, whether it's anything from DUI to murder, they will come up with a certain amount of money that you will pay over to them to put in their escrow account. And then they will bill out of that escrow account on the basis of what the value of their time is. And again, it's fair game for you to ask what they do, how they bill, and how you are protected. So that's one way of doing it. I think a lot of divorce lawyers do the same thing. Now, in terms of tort law or injuries, negligence law, which is what we do, they're usually done on what's called a contingent fee contract. Again, I mean, if you've got a case that needs investigating, where the liability is not clear and the law firm maybe doesn't know if they want to take it or not, they will give you that information up front, but you will execute an agreement that gives them a percentage of whatever you recover. And that could range anywhere from 25% to 50%, depending on whether it's a very complex case that requires a lot of outlay of money that the law firm is going to advance, or whether it's a simple, straightforward negligence case where you know that there's going to be a settlement. Now, there are exceptions to every rule, of course. I remember one time years ago, we had a lady come in. She was, I think she was a CPA, and her husband was a CPA. And he was hit and killed by a car driven by two young men who worked for a computer company. And the limit of liability on the automobile was $50,000. Now, this was a wrongful death of a professional man. And she wanted to know what it would cost her to proceed with it. Well, the fact of the matter is, given the clear liability in that case, she didn't need a lawyer to get the $50,000. The insurance company would have jumped in her lap. The backstory is this. These guys worked for a company. They were, in fact, on company business. I keep losing my earpiece. They were on company business, at least we contended they were. The company denied that they were on company business. The company had $1 million policy.
Wow.
So we made her a proposition. We said, we will charge you $5,000 to investigate the case. If we can't come up with more coverage and insurance, that will be the end of your obligation to us. During the and the $5,000 would go toward the contingent fee if we took the case. We investigated, worked it, found out through their logs that they were actually on an assignment from the company. So then, rather than the $50,000 that they were limited to, we found there was $1 million, $1,050,000. We then took it on a contingent fee. I think it was 1/3, and gave her credit for the $5,000 that she had paid. So there's many ways to work out a fee arrangement as there are arrangements, but you should always ask first. Wendell, you want to add to that?
Yeah, I will add, because we see this all the time. When the injuries far exceed the amount of insurance available, or that appears to be available, there are a lot of lawyers that'll take that on a 1/3 contingency fee, write one letter, collect a big payday at the expense of the client. And, we try to operate under the theory that if we can't help the client and put more money in the client's pocket, then we aren't doing the client right. And that's not the way we've operated and never have.
And we don't charge a fee.
That's right.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. So in that case, they just simply need to give you a call, since you're right here in Macon anyway. So if you have further questions for Carl Reynolds or Wendell Horne, then give them a call, 478-405-0300.